What's up? We're going to be going over the windmill today. Okay, so first, two things with the windmill. We're going to be breaking it down into the first half and the second half, or the front and the back. Okay, so I'm going to break this down step by step so that you can follow along with me while I'm talking if you'd like to. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go over the front half. Okay, the very first thing that you need to think about and practice when you're doing this is called the stab. Okay, so it looks like this. With your hand on the ground, elbow in your stomach, okay? And eventually you want to be able to make it so that you can put all of your weight on your elbow and lift your feet off of the floor. Looks like this, okay? So that's the first thing you have to do, okay? And once you get there, you're going to start to engage your legs, and that's going to make your body start to perform the windmill, okay? So from the stab, here, my legs are wide, okay? First thing, my non-dominant leg, okay? That is the leg that is not matching the hand that is on the ground, is going to kick towards my ear, toward the ear on the same side of my body that's on, okay? The other leg is going to sweep and try to make a circle on the ground, okay? So watch. First, my non-dominant leg kicks towards my ear. That's this one. My non-dominant leg kicks towards my ear, starts to bring me around in a circle. Then, my other dominant leg is going to sweep right after my leg kicks. Okay? So first the kick, and then sweep. Okay? Notice how I'm now on my back. That's exactly where I want to be. Okay? So once more. First, the stab, hand is on the ground. Legs are wide, elbows in the stomach. Next, my leg kicks towards my ear, other leg sweeps. Kick, sweep. And now I'm going in a circle. And this is the front half of the windmill. Okay? So, another thing to think about. After your leg sweeps and kicks, it should carry you onto your upper back. You really want to stay on your very upper back as high as you can, preferably towards your shoulders and neck area, okay? If you're trying to windmill on your lower back, you're not really going to be able to make it around, okay? So that's the first half of the windmill. I'll show you one more time. Okay? Hand, elbow in, I'm making a stab. Legs are wide. My first leg, non-dominant leg, is going to kick towards my ear. Other leg is going to sweep around, okay? Kick, sweep. And I'm turning, legs staying wide. Okay? So that's the first half. Next, the second half of the windmill, or the back. Okay? So this is definitely, I would say, the hardest part of the windmill to learn. Okay? So this one starts from the position that you end up in after the first half of the windmill. Okay, so you're laying on your back like this, legs are wide. Okay? So here's the funny part. Now that this leg just kicked towards my ear and this leg swept, the roles are going to reverse. So the leg that was kicking, my dominant leg, is now going to kick towards my ear. Sorry, the leg that was sweeping is now kicking towards my ear this way. Okay? And the leg that was kicking is now sweeping back. Okay? And I'm starting to roll over, notice. Okay? Once I'm here, the next step is to try to go to my shoulder, okay? So from my back, this is first position. The rolls of the legs, reverse. Okay, so I'm kicking with my dominant leg, sweeping with my other leg, trying to get to my shoulder here, okay? So from here, I'm kicking, and sweeping, trying to get to my shoulder, okay? It's not very important if you're touching the ground or anything while you're getting onto the shoulder. The most important part is that you're getting on top of it, because that's going to set you up to continue as you're trying to get more and more windmills in a row, okay? So the next step, after you get on your shoulder, you're trying to roll over back onto your elbow, okay, so that you can restart from the front of the windmill, okay? Looks like this. So I'm here, the back half of my windmill. Okay? My dominant leg is kicking, other leg is sweeping. Now I'm trying to get onto my shoulder so that I can make room to make the stab again and roll back onto it. Okay? So now you might be able to notice from there, I can restart from the front half of the windmill. Okay? So from the back half, I'm going to go all the way through so that you can see what it looks like as I start another windmill. Okay, so I'm going to go from the back half all the way through to the next back half of the windmill. Okay? So here, leg kicks towards my ear, other leg sweeps. I'm rolling around, getting back on my elbow, and then kick, sweep. Now I'm on my back again. Okay? So from here, we now have all of the steps to complete the windmill. You can start to see how it can take shape. If you follow the steps and practice these consistently, you'll be able to eventually get one windmill and then work up to making it cleaner and cleaner. Okay? So now, I'm going to demonstrate it slowly and try to perform each step. Try to perform each step so that you can actually see every step as I'm doing it. Okay? So first, I'll start in front. So the stab. Elbows in my stomach. Leg. Kicks towards my ear. Sweeps. Back. Leg kicks. Sweeps. I get back on. Kick. Sweep. Kick. Sweep. Okay? Kick. Sweep. Shoulder. Kick. Sweep. Okay? So notice how my legs are constantly moving. Legs are constantly moving. Okay? They're just reversing the roles. One is constantly kicking and then changing and sweeping. Okay? So it's this kind of motion. Alright? So those are the steps of the windmill. Now I'm going to go over some basic tips that you can think of while you're performing this, okay? So first things first, you noticed while I was doing this, my legs were always apart. Okay, if you're trying to perform the windmill and close your legs, you're not going to be successful. Okay, so have to make sure that your legs stay open while you're practicing. No matter what, doesn't matter how wide they are, just have to make sure that the legs stay apart. Okay, and here's another thing. This one is kind of just a recommendation. Why? When I do my windmill, I practice pointing my toes. Okay, that helps me keep my legs wider the whole time. It makes me keep my legs straight so that they don't come together, okay? The other thing is, I didn't really talk about this too much, but if you practice getting on your shoulder before you go back to your stab on the back half of the windmill, you should be pretty good at staying high on your back, okay? But like I said a little bit earlier, if you are low on your back, then you're not really going to be successful with the windmill, okay? So make sure that you're staying high on your back as you're going around, okay? All right. Next thing, when you're practicing the windmill, make sure you're practicing the front. When you're first starting out, make sure you're practicing the front by itself and the back by itself, okay? So you're practicing each separately, okay? Once you get good at both of these, then you can start to put them together, okay? So it's pretty imperative that you practice each separately though, so that you can start to develop the strength in each part of the movement, okay? Because if you try to put them together before you're ready, then something is going to be like the weak link, and you're not going to be as successful as if you practice them separately before you put them together, okay? All right, here's one other thing that I haven't talked about yet. When you're going from the front half to the back half, to be most successful, you have to pop off of your back to get back on to your elbow, okay? So this is not super imperative, but it helps make the windmill smoother, okay? I'll demonstrate this first, okay, before I explain it any further, okay? So from here, when I kick and sweep, I go to my back. From there, I'm trying to bounce off of my back to get back on my elbow. Okay? So here I bounce to catch back. Okay? So you can see there's a lot more power when I do that than if I just kick and sweep only. Okay, so there's more than just the legs, but the legs are most important. Okay, one more time I'll show you. So my legs are doing everything they need to, but I'm also going to bounce off of my back to get back onto my front. So here, bounce and catch. Okay? All right, here's this one is more of an advanced tip, and it takes a little bit of discipline. Okay, maybe a little bit of pain too. All right, when you're practicing the front half of your windmill, I suggest that you practice starting from here with your legs off the ground. Okay, so just the hand. Your other hand can be on the ground when you start, but I suggest you keep your legs in the air when you start. Okay? The reason for that is because whatever surface you're practicing on, sometimes, or practicing or performing on, sometimes the surface is not as slick. There's more friction and resistance on certain surfaces. So if you practice making power from here, from nothing basically, your windmill is going to be a lot more powerful and cleaner than someone who has to rely on less friction to perform the windmill, okay? So make sure you're practicing with only your hand touching the ground. Okay? Only your hands touching the ground. Make sure your feet are not touching, okay? If you want a stronger windmill. All right, finally, one more concept. In the front half of your windmill, to gain a little extra power and momentum from the start, you might have noticed that I was doing this already. Your other hand can reach up here and pull you around, okay? It's like this, all right? So you notice that's kind of powerful, and it can add a lot of momentum to your windmill, okay? So I make the stab, and you can also do this with your feet off the ground. I'm gonna put my hand up here, and I'm gonna pull myself around, okay? So it looks like that, and I'll perform one for you. I'll perform one with that added, okay? So notice how quickly I start to pick up speed when I do this. Okay, pretty much almost immediately. So I'll pull around here, and then, okay, notice it's hard to even slow myself down, okay? So keep that one in mind. That's something to practice only after you're already comfortable with the basic movements, okay? All right, finally, those are my tips. Here's a little concept, or maybe a philosophy of the windmill, if you want to call it that, okay? So what I've noticed as I've been practicing the windmill is that there's kind of a yin and yang to the technique, okay? A lot, more than one actually, okay? So the legs are one part that makes the technique work, but if you're neglecting the back, then your windmill's not going to be as strong as if you take care of both parts, okay? So one yin and yang, the legs and the back, okay? So make sure you're practicing both of those. Another one, the legs by themselves. There's always a kick and a sweep, okay? So if you're only kicking towards your ear or only sweeping, then you're not going to be as successful as if you're performing both, okay? So make sure legs are constantly kicking and sweeping. Most of the time, if you're not getting around, that's the reason. Okay, so make sure you're practicing kicking and sweeping both together, okay? And then another one is the obvious one, the front half of the windmill and the back half of the windmill. So make sure, again, you're separating them, practicing them separately, and getting both parts down so that when you put them together, it's easier to perform the whole thing together, okay? I think that's basically it. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you have good fortune when you're practicing your windmills. Thanks.